Let's see what we got. Well, I say that and then it slows down for me. Ought to be coming through for you here in a second.
Okay.
All right. Showing live on mine.
We're live. Yep, we
All
just
right,
went
perfect.
live, so we're good.
All right. Let me go ahead and get the intro and we'll get rolling.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, this is Jack Hughes of Wang Chung, and you're listening to the DND Dynamite 80s podcast show with your hosts DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So guys, take it away.
All
Hey.
right. Yes, ladies and
Special
gentlemen.
show tonight.
Special show. Welcome into a special
Monday
edition
night.
of
Monday
D&D.
night.
Monday
Hey.
night, yes.
Hey.
We'll see how. See, it could be. I would say Monday Night Raw, but we don't want to infringe on anybody
Right.
else's
Yeah, there we go. That's
information there. So,
That's right.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
Hey, I am DC.
And we're here to take another fantastic look, all things 80s on a special night, a Monday night. And DC,
Yes, sir.
brother, I don't care how your week's been, your month's been, or any of that. I'm excited to
Summertime,
get.
man.
I'm excited to get this interview
Yeah.
started, man. So
Yeah.
we're just going to say everything went well for you, and I'm going to let you do the introductions and let's get it going.
Hey, for teachers, the summertime is a beautiful thing. So it's all good. Yeah.
Hey, but
it's
the
rolling
countdown,
right along.
the countdown is on.
It's going to be close, isn't it? Very soon we'll be back in action. That's for sure.
Uh,
Oh, wow. Yeah, we are honored to have Bill Wadhams with us from Animotion tonight. And yeah, I've been excited about getting Bill on. And yeah, he's been awesome to try to work with. And we finally got it worked out. And
Yeah.
Bill, it is an honor to have you on. How are
Yeah.
you doing?
Thank you, DC. Thank you, DH. It's a pleasure to be here. So you're in Tennessee, and I have to be honest with you. I can't recall ever being in Tennessee, which is really a sin because it's such a it's such a birthplace of music.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, I know some wonderful musicians who went out there and and have been making their name out there. So it's one of these days I got to get
You
out
need
there.
to get to town for
You'll,
sure.
you'll have to get down
Absolutely.
here and come in on a Friday because DC buys breakfast for everybody
Right.
every
That's
Friday.
right.
So
Right. I'll pick up
Fantastic.
the yeah,
Fantastic.
Nebraska. Yeah.
A good healthy
Bill-
start.
yes.
That's right. That's it. Bill, let me ask this. I love asking this of all our musician
Sure.
guests that we have on is when did you have the passion that you knew this is what you wanted to do for a living?
Well, I grew up in a family with 5 kids in upstate New York, Rochester, New York.
Hmm.
And I remember with the old black and white TV, we sat around and my brother actually, he was reading the Sunday comics in the newspaper and he saw an ad that said, "The Beatles on television tonight." And we saw the first Beatles, TV show on Ed Sullivan. And man, we thought, look at these guys like rocking out. We were 9 and 11. I was 11 years old. He was 9. And we were just smitten by that whole thing. So I took up the guitar. He eventually took up bass and ended up being the bass player for Sheryl Crow on her first world
Wow.
tour.
Wow.
And yeah, he's still playing today. Sometimes he plays with Animotion. So his name is Tad Wadhams. And if you watch the video for All I Wanna Do Is Have Some Fun,
Yes.
he's
yes.
on a stand-up bass floating in the air,
Okay.
So yeah, we got
Awesome.
hooked, and then we were in bands all through high school, and eventually we migrated from the East Coast. We landed both of us in LA, and we were playing with different groups, and then I got hooked into Animotion, and he got hooked into Sheryl Crow.
Wow. Wow.
Amazing. And Bill, one of the things I kind of like to delve into is can you share some of you shared the Beatles, but what are some more of your musical influences that you think kind of where your sound developed from?
Okay, well, first of all, I guess I was, really smitten by a lot of guitar players And for a minute, I thought I wanted to be a jazz guitar player. I loved George Benson and the whole,
Yes.
Wow.
in the 70s, the jazz that was coming out was so cool. I loved seeing Benson before he started singing. So I thought, I'm going to be a jazz guy, and then I heard the guitarist on Steely Dan, and that just really tore my head off because they had so many great guitarists on that. In the meantime, on my 18th birthday, I saw Led Zeppelin, and it's hard to beat that for rock and roll. Um, we were also blown away by groups like the Mahavishnu Orchestra and stuff, where these just these guys that played like you've never heard before. The music is blowing your head off. Billy Cobham on drums and John McLaughlin on guitar playing faster than any. How can you play that fast? Now you'll see on Instagram, you'll see a 9-year-old kid playing as fast.
Right.
Where did these, prodigies come from? But at any rate, so yeah, we followed the classic rockers, and we had the pleasure of, being in the orchestra pit right in front of the Who on the Tommy tour. Um, and so eventually, I got to Los Angeles, and at a time when I thought this was going to be very sophisticated, again, Steely Dan, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Commodores, I was thinking that jazz rock was going to be the thing until I got to LA, and then I heard the Knack, and the Knack busted out with Sharona, and I thought, okay, I grew up on, that kind of rock. And so I had a band in Los Angeles called the Billy Bond Band, and changed my name to Billy Bond. And we were two guitars, bass, and drums, and we were rocking out. And then somebody saw me and said, I think this guy should work with this woman I'm working with, Astrid. She was from England, from London area, and someone had the vision to put the two of us together.
Wow.
And so, that's how it initially happened.
Yeah. So that led me into what I wanted to ask you about. Talk to me about the first meeting with Astrid.
Well, so it was arranged by someone who was managing her band. She had a band called Red Zone, which was, I saw them once, and they were very cool. They were a retro science fiction band, is how a retro science fiction punk band.
Wow.
So
Okay.
they
Fucking
dressed up like
scripted.
they dressed up like aliens. They had flashing lights and all this stuff. So they were, and
So
and they had a
cool.
song called "Living on Lust." So it was a sexy, punky thing, and that band was breaking up, and they had no guitar singer to work with Astrid. And again, this guy saw me, and that was managing her, and so I sat down with Astrid, and she had what was the remnants of that band. So they already had a few players, and so I started teaching them my songs, and that first meeting, I will admit, didn't seem like it was my tribe, honestly.
Okay.
You know how
Yeah.
you come into a place like LA, and there's thousands of
Sure.
musicians, and you get together with some people, and it's like, bam, this is just like, oh, they're into Steely Dan, I'm into Steely.
Yeah.
Well, Astrid was into The Cure, and at that point, I wasn't into The Cure, and she was into maybe Human League and some other people. So in some respects, Astrid's like evolution to what was coming, she was a little farther ahead of me. I was still like thinking I need to be like the Police and that kind of rock, that guitar thing, because I'm the guitarist.
Right.
Sure. Sure.
But so when I met them, it was a little, I thought, okay, they're sweet people, maybe not people that I would, but we started rehearsing, and and then what happened was we were playing clubs, and pretty soon a legendary A&R guy, people who develop develop artists for record labels, he came to our rehearsal space. His name was Russ Reagan. He had signed Elton John. He signed Kiss. He worked with Neil Diamond.
Wow.
And he sat down and he looked at us and he said, he sings, she sings, then you both do a duet. this could be a Fleetwood Mac for the 80s. So he signed us based on kind of like what we were putting out there, and bam, we had a record contract. And then so from that point on, you're kind of in uncharted territory. And maybe I'm going too far with this story, but
Oh gosh,
when
no.
I say uncharted territory, we don't know what it means to have a producer, record company, the guidance, the studio. What's the budget like? Oh, who's paying for the video? Oh, we're paying. Oh, anyway.
Wow.
One of the things, Bill, I like to kind of ask too is, was there ever that one moment where it was like that aha moment? Was like, we're there. We've hit that success
What we
level.
wanted to try to get to, yeah.
Sure. The record was released in 84 and it was being played locally on a local station called KROQ, which was the indie station, and we were getting pretty good traction on that, but no national play in 84. And I thought, I'm going back to the Billy Bond Band. I'm just not quite sure where this is headed.
Yeah.
But then in the beginning of 85, there was the top station in LA, big station, said, we're going to have a battle of the unknown bands. And they put us on there, and then up against another night. And each night we beat out the competition for 5 nights in a row. So with the song Obsession, so they added us to their playlist and we went up into the top 10. Now other P1 radio stations took note. And so that spring, the moment where I thought, oh, yeah, this is going to be something, was when we were like number 17 with a bullet heading towards the top 10. And the record company had put us in a bus, said, throw them, actually our first bus was a Winnebago. So, they threw us in an RV to go from San Diego to Vancouver, BC. And while we were on that trip, it was just jumping up the charts.
Wow. DC, I don't think that's something we'll ever have to worry about as being in the top 10 of anything, unless it's a waffle eating contest. We might make that.
Right. That's true. That's true. So talk to me about Obsession. How it came about, and you knew it was going to be a big hit, and it took off, right?
Well, first of all, I did not know it was going to be a big hit. Astrid will tell you she did. She had that feeling. Astrid, in a way, is kind of the muse of the group in that she had a vision and she had a drive. And she insisted we rehearse 4 times a week. And she kind of kicked our ass. And I was the only writer in the band, so I was writing songs for her to sing. Like our second single is a song called Let Him Go. And so I'm writing this song for her, and I had some songs for me, and we recorded half of our first album, and our producer went to England. He heard Relax, which is the band, he heard Relax.
Yeah.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah,
he heard Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and he said, hey, listen, Bill, a publisher here in LA has put this song in front of me called Obsession. It's kind of in the vein of Relax. And I think it could be a hit for you guys. And my first reaction was, wait a minute, I'm the writer of the band, and this doesn't sound like my songs. And so I felt uncomfortable with that, especially because he's saying this would be the hit, which to me sounds like, I don't know if we have a hit on the record, so we're bringing in, an outside source. So initially I was reluctant. Also, the original recording, it was written by Holly Knight, who's written many famous songs.
Oh, absolutely.
And Michael Daybar, the bad guy from MacGyver, but also a rock and roller that goes all the way back to as Led Zeppelin was coming up, his band was signed to Led Zeppelin's Swan Song. I mean, Michael DeBar was really a rocker for many years, and I think probably his first love. And so he writes this song with Holly Knight, and it was placed in a movie called A Night in Heaven, which was it was a roller disco movie around the time of Flashdance and those things. So it's like, let's do a soundtrack, blah, blah, blah. So Obsession was in that, and I think they released it, and it just didn't do anything on the radio. It didn't go up the charts. It didn't splash. And I can't say why it did or didn't, but I can tell you that when I first heard that recording, the male part was spoken, not sung, by Michael with a wonderful English accent. You are an obsession. I cannot sleep. And when he played that for me, I thought, is this, you're telling me this is a hit song and I'm not even going to be singing, And we got in the studio, I said, I did the speaking part. And if you listen again, you may not have noticed, but if you listen again, you'll hear the speaking part kind of in the background. You are an obsession. You are an obsession. You are, Then I said, can I please sing it? Let me just take a whack at it. And I sang it, and they decided to keep both the spoken and the singing. So again, it busted out, and I thought, I don't know. But then when it hit the top 10, now I didn't care where it came from. I do not care.
Right.
I know I'm going on the ride of my life. So let's just go with that. So it was pretty fantastic. And the one thing I love about the song Obsession is that it's a shared experience between us, the band, and the audience. First of all, when that hits, and that ba 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 ba, that was not part of the original. That was created when we did. As a matter of fact, Holly and Michael didn't like the horn part. They didn't like that bit. They thought it was cheesy, and everything. Which, okay. So, I mean, it's been on like Friday Night Fights and all that.
I think it's a fantastic part of the
It's a
song.
great sports thing.
Yeah.
It is. So at any rate, it's also when that plays, it's like a fanfare.
Yes.
Here comes Animotion. So it's the audience is there, and you just feel like we're all having this moment together. And then after the show, people say, "Oh man, let me tell you what. When I first had that song and I was dating this girl, oh man, that was a good time." People share their stories and introduce us to their kids, and it's become something beyond just a song for us. It's a way of connecting with people. Yeah. And we're just kind of like the vehicle that brings that across.
And and that's kind of cool that you mentioned that, because if you think about it, when we listen to the music and the nostalgia of the 80s for us, it was just for us, it was such a different time in the world, such a much better place. And you guys continue to give that gift to generation after generation with the music. So I want to say thank you for sharing your gift, because that is a major gift that you're sharing, and you're allowing people to escape things that are going on in this world for a while, and just remember those great times. Yes. So that's a major gift. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I mean, I'm just honored to be a part of that. And it's so funny that now that I'm so old, I have no idea what I was about to say, but I can still remember the lyrics. I can still remember the lyrics. I can kind of remember the lyrics, but geez.
That's fun, because it happens to all of us. But you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm telling you, as soon as that fanfare trumpet comes on, we would all know the lyrics.
Right. So. That's right.
I'll tell you. So we are about to do this summer. We're about to do 19 shows starting this coming weekend. The first two are in Pennsylvania. The first one is at the Keswick Theater in Glenside, just outside of Philadelphia. and then we're up in the Poconos at the Sherman Theater in Stroudsburg. Then we get on with the Totally Tubular Festival with Thomas Dolby and a Flock of Seagulls at the Escape Club. It's going to be fantastic, and I don't know. It's just, again, it's just fun to go on the ride, and it's mind-boggling that the 80s music has a place in our culture now.
Yes.
Oh, I know what I was going to say about it. Is it like when the video for Obsession first came out, my younger brother kind of really put it in perspective. He said, I don't know if this is really silly, stupid, or really cool. And that's what the 80s was so goofy.
That was it.
The 80s was goofy, and videos were like, let's put on a show, They, the record company and managers and people would come to us and say, here's some ideas for your video. Okay, Astrid's in the bar, Bill walks in, he sidles up to her, hey, baby, and I'm like, no. First of all, not a lot of people know, but Astrid and I were never an item. We were never loved. We sing and we play cat and mouse on stage. We enact a relationship, and we have a long-standing relationship of working together. But
Sure.
But at any rate, so I said I was about to marry someone else. I mean, I married right when we were in the top 10, and I said, I don't want a video that's all about how much I want to sleep with her. So they said, okay, I've got an idea. We'll make it like a Fellini movie with a lot of wild characters. So now I was a samurai warrior, and then I was Mark Antony, and she was
Right.
Cleopatra, and there's all these wacky
It's a
things.
well-known video.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember it like yesterday, all the
And
parts and stuff. It's fantastic.
It's just goofy. It's so
Yeah.
goofy, and it's a permission for the audience to be goofy. People show up,
Sure.
pardon me, in day glow colors, little,
Right.
like their aerobics, calisthenics, like outfits and things like that, or dressed like Madonna. Pretty fun.
I'm
And,
curious, since you brought that up, have you noticed at some of your shows over the years, anybody dressing as some of those characters from the videos?
I've never seen anybody put on a Roman helmet and a breastplate,
Right.
or I actually had one of those Roman skirts on. No, I haven't seen
Right.
anything like that. But I've, Astrid in some of the other videos and stuff, she was pretty, 80s up with her. She had a side ponytail and stuff
Sure.
like that. Once in a while, we'll see somebody with a side ponytail and
Right.
pink and blue and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the
You know,
neon stuff. Yeah.
It's kind of funny because you kind of alluded to it, but in the 80s, we kind of talked about this several times. Like here in Nashville, you had the one station that would play everybody, so you might hear Johnny Cash one minute, the next minute you're listening to Def Leppard or Van Halen.
Sure.
You just don't know. But the same thing with the concerts. Like in Nashville for a while, it didn't matter who was coming. It'd be Conway Twitty, special guest star Rat. I mean, it didn't matter.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing.
That's what you.
Yeah.
That's what you always
But-
would think because
yeah.
Rat opened for everybody. back
For
in the
everybody
day
for a
here.
while.
Yeah.
But my thing was, like, I was more into the metal, but I loved all of the 80s. It didn't matter. You didn't change the station. And I think
No, you listen
that's
to
the
all
part you said
genres
about
of
the
it.
80s
Yeah.
being so kind of goofy was you could just be yourself and listen to whatever and
Listen
just
to
keep
whatever you
rocking.
wanted.
So it
Right.
And I think that makes it one of the special decades. There was so much talent too.
oh yes.
Talk to me about some of those as you were coming through this happening to you guys.
Yeah.
Some of those that stick out to you. Some of those wonderful
Sure.
performers,
Yeah. Well,
or touring with them, or whatever. Yeah.
we toured with Howard Jones. That was
Oh,
our
wow.
first big tour. We paired up with Howard, and he's an incredibly generous, kind, sweet guy, and unique. And back in the day on that tour, he had a drummer who was standing up. He had electronic drums
Hmm.
that were arranged like this, and he's like wham bam bam bam, and then on the other side of the stage was Howard's brother playing bass. And then up front, he had a mime. Mime. He had a mime. And different songs, he had different costumes. He came out as a dragon once, and he's like running through the thing, and then it was pretty and it was very entertaining. On the other hand, we did some shows with Depeche Mode, and wow, that was amazing. One of the things that Depeche Mode did that I'd never seen was they had backing tracks. Literally on the side of the stage, there were two big reel-to-reel machines going like this.
Wow.
And I look up on the stage and I see Depeche Mode, and they've got all kinds of like things like some metal, corrugated metal kind of wall that they're hitting and stuff. And you hear the sounds of the like, bum, 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 boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
And it was the tapes rolling. One goes down, the other one keeps going, whatever. I was like, can you do that? But now, I mean, it's a lot of people have, the drummer's got something now and he's doing something. So there's just some extra stabs there. There's a little backup vocal, there's some whatever. So it's over the years, I've seen like productions of how these shows happen, change. Otherwise, like we played a few years ago with Boy George, and again, another sweet guy, and puts on a great show. And it's great to see these people, healthy and happy and pleasing the people. I think we've lost too many sweet, lovely
Yes.
people here in Portland, Oregon. For years, I've known the bass player for Gang of Four, and Dave passed away last year, I think. And so, he's just one of the number of people that Dave Allen that we really miss, and he was a groundbreaking person in the 80s. And so again, we are just grateful to be healthy enough to get out there and rock out with our fans.
And I think
you mentioned, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's one of the things that makes the music of the 80s stick around. And especially like you guys, the performances and the showmanship that was put into the shows, not only then, but now as well. I mean, it takes a lot of work to put on the kind of show you guys put on, but that showmanship, I think that's a major element that's missing in a lot of today's newer artists, to me. I mean, that's just my opinion.
There's such a wide spectrum. I'm a fan of Bruno Mars, I mean, and Anderson .Paak, and they're out this year. And, I wish I could dance like one tiny bit as much as Bruno Mars.
Yes.
At a certain point, we had a choreographer come, this is back in the 80s, but, our manager said, why don't we get, we're going to hire a choreographer and bring in, it kind of didn't go over. We end up just moving the way we need to move. And Astrid and I will dance around each other or something like that. But to actually start to try to do it a certain way, it just kind of didn't click for us. but we, the main thing is really, it's just like seeing the audience, reaching out to them, responding to what they're feeling, and because you can really feel it. And that's why I've always kind of preferred, a smaller venue to a giant arena. It's the first time we played with Depeche Mode, 17,000 people, and you walk out on stage, and I thought, I wonder if they can see me. I better go. I better, if I'm going to dance, I better make some big moves so they can see me in the back there. I don't know. I can't remember if we had screens on either side then, but I thought, wow, I got to play to the nosebleed section.
The huge numbers. Yeah.
That's one of the things DC and I have noticed. We've done a couple of live shows with like the Roy Band and some things.
Yeah.
And when we're there, we're watching people kind of experience the music
Yeah.
in their
That's the
own
cool
way,
part.
in their
Yeah.
own memories. Do you guys see that from the stage as well?
Um, do we see people? Tell me, what was that again? I'm sorry.
We're watching people, and you kind of see everybody's experiencing the music in their own way and kind of reliving their own memories and doing, just kind of freely like that.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely see that. And it's kind of interesting to try to focus on what I'm doing while taking in what's happening,
Mm.
not getting, you got to not get in your head too
Yes.
much, like going, oh my God, the monitor on my left is about to make me deaf. Like the sound of Astrid's voice in that monitor is killing me.
Mm.
And you know, I've learned to bring, earplugs. Uh, but so there's like technical issues, um, and then technical lighting, and then sometimes the band gets a little like, did we just miss the bridge of that song? There's so there's a lot going on, and
Right.
what's great is when everything is working. It just seems to be working. And when I play that, I hit that note on my guitar and it sings, and I'm like, oh man, this is what it's about, you know. Or, again, when I sing the first line of Obsession, I can just see like a wave, a ripple. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the guy, that's the voice, that's the guy. All right, you know, because in our band we have four original members on tour, four of
Yeah.
us from the 80s on tour, and it's kind of rare.
Yes.
It's
Wow.
kind of rare.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You mentioned Oregon, and Oregon's been great to us with guests. Mike Skill, um, Kevin Rankin
yeah,
with Flock of Seagulls. Talk to me about the area. It seems to have a lot of musician ties there in that Oregon, Portland, Oregon area. Is it a strong type of musical city?
it's a very strong musical city. Matter of fact, and it's also like so many other places, pretty tight knit. And Kevin
Mm.
Rankin was our drummer for 15 years. I don't know if he mentioned that.
Oh wow. Okay.
He was our when we first reunited in like 2001. I was not able to get in touch with our current drummer Jim, um, and someone said you should talk to Kevin Rankin, and I went and had lunch with him. And as you know, he is such a positive vibe, smile guy, and when you
Yeah.
see him drum,
Yes.
no one's happier to be drumming than Kevin Rankin
That's right.
and
That's
kicking
right.
butt.
Yes.
So he played with us for 15 years, and then at some point, Mike Score asked him to fill in
Yeah.
because his drummer something happened, and he's been with them ever since. God bless him. They're doing like 100 shows this year, something, and we're doing 19, which is great. That's my speed. But anyway, um, I've kind of gone off the track here. I don't even know what we were talking about. Um,
No, just the
Oregon, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
the richness of the musicians there.
Yeah, and Tommy Heath, Tommy Two Tone lives in the
Yes.
area.
Okay.
Martha Davis of the Motels moved up here 15 years ago or something like that. She's a friend. Um,
Wow. Wow.
One of the biggest bands out of Portland is the Dandy Warhols, and so
Yeah.
they're a 90s, more of a 90s
Okay.
band,
Okay.
but they're still quite active. And I I hang out with Courtney Taylor. He's a real kick. He's really something else. He's a great guy. Um, there's also a big jazz scene, and a friend of mine, Tom Grant, he was like a jazz pop guy. Jazz, what do you call it? Jazz when it started to be not fusion, but I don't know. Anyway, he was a smooth jazz, kind of a
Yeah.
smooth
Yeah.
jazz.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
kind of a smooth jazz
Yeah.
hero. Now he does more like acoustic piano, just gorgeous stuff. But he's
Wow.
really he's brilliant. One of my favorite local Portland artists. And then, like I said, Dave Allen, Gang of Four, and Dave. When Dave got here, he helped other bands, young bands in the city develop. Um, you know, he was a voice in guiding bands especially in trying to understand the digital world. So yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And we have lead guitarist from Michael Jackson, woman,
The female? Uh-huh.
yes, the fantastic.
Yes. Okay.
It'll
Can't
come to
remember
me.
the name.
The name will come to me in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we've had little concerts in my backyard. She just ripped it up in my backyard. Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Jennifer. Yes, sorry, it's coming.
It's okay. That's all right. DH, I think we need to do our question of the night.
Well, I Mike, what we're going to do, we're going to give you the question of the night while you're thinking there. So what this is, one of those high budget shows, as you can tell. We do our post conference at the local Waffle House on Friday morning, and we're going to give you two bands, and whichever band you choose, whoever's band it is not, has to buy breakfast. So, and I don't know if you've seen, but DC always tries to say I cheat when I'm doing this by giving some hint out on some limb or something. And I never do. I just, I think of things during this time DC, I need to tell you, I went to Waffle House this morning and I was eating my eggs and something was missing, man. It just wasn't a great breakfast.
I wasn't there to pay for it.
And all at once I look up and this guy wearing a cape is over at that music thing, putting coins in.
Yeah. Called a jukebox.
Jukebox, that's it. And he hit the numbers on that. And man, the songs he played were so nostalgic. It made breakfast so great. And I asked the lady,
you weren't urgent to finish, were you?
Who was that man with the star mask in his eyes? And she said, you don't know who that was? I said, no. She said, he is the wanderer of Waffle House. He is the perfectionist of the pork chop. He is the excellence of eggs. He is the Waffle House jukebox hero with stars in his eyes. Right. I met him this morning, dude. Yes. I met him first time ever. Bill, I got off task there, Bill. I'm sorry.
I'm going to add to
I don't know what I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get off.
I'm just going to add to the torture that you do to me. You weren't very urgent to finish your breakfast, right?
I was not urgent at all. My eggs were cold as ice. Okay. But, it was okay because the coffee was hot-blooded at the time.
Okay.
So, see, Bill, I'm sorry. I get off on these stories. And as you can see, I don't cheat at all. But DC always says I do. So I'm going to let him give you the band names.
Very good.
All right. I'm just going to interject. Jennifer Batten was Michael Jackson's guitarist.
Yes. There you go.
Giant blonde hair.
Yes.
And she just smoked.
Amazing guitarist. Yes.
She's still out there on tour right now. And she's a very sweet, smart person in Portland.
Very talented.
Amazing talent.
I'm glad you came up with that because I was lost too on that one. All right, so we've got Foreigner.
What songs did they have?
REO Speedwagon. Which one would you prefer of the two if you had to choose?
Foreigner or REO Speedwagon?
Mm-hmm.
For me, there's no contest here. I love Foreigner. And REO Speedwagon, so just to, I don't want to tell you why I don't like them so much, but Foreigner, I love the guitar and the voice and everything like that. Yeah. And the songs,
Oh, absolutely.
DC, who, which one of us had Foreigner? I forget.
I believe that would be you.
Oh, that was me. Okay,
I've got to check again Friday, don't I?
So I'm now up 6 we have a Golden Waffle Award at the end of the year.
We're going to have to change over. We're gonna have
I'm
to
up
change
6.
over.
This one's
Oh.
doing well for me. I'm enjoying my breakfasts.
Bill, we do this a lot on the show. We'll switch up artists that would compete against each other. I need to ask you about what you would think on this one that we did a while back. Since you mentioned the guitarist, Michael Jackson versus Prince.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
It was a very good competition on that.
It really
one,
was.
sure. It was.
You know, there's so many factors. I have to tell you, I met Michael Jackson once before I was in Animotion. I got a job at a recording studio where Michael was recording the Thriller album. I was answering the phones up in the reception area, and I only met him once. I met him once in like the coffee room. I was going back to make some coffee. Otherwise, he was kind of like, I didn't see him much. And at the time, I was so concerned with my own songwriting and music career that it didn't occur to me to try to schmooze my way into the recording business. It's like, oh my God. What if I had said, like, Bruce Swedeen is the engineer, and what if I'd said to those guys, hey, can I help you set up the microphones, or like, can I twist some knobs for you? Oh my gosh. And but I met Michael Jackson. I'd have to say I'd have to lean towards Michael Jackson just because I have not just that meeting, but just the history of some connections. Plus, our keyboard player in Animotion, Greg, he worked on the demos for the Thriller album with Michael.
Wow.
He literally like played the bass or beat it, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
And also the keyboard part for Billie Jean, that hoot, 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 hoot. Greg came up with that, and when they went to record the album, Quincy Jones was using his own studio guys. He wasn't going to bring my keyboard player Greg into the session, but they couldn't figure out how to get that sound because he had a very unusual synth.
With it. Yeah.
So they said, hey, Greg, can you bring this in, and we will we want to use your synth for the session. He brought the synth in, and Greg Fillinganes, the regular keyboard player, was late. So they said to Greg, okay, bring your keyboard in. We're just going to play it. We're going to do it. And so he's on the album.
Wow.
He's on the Thriller album.
Wow.
He did a bunch of session stuff, and then when we got to Obsession, I brought him in. He wasn't a band member until like halfway through the album. And I brought him in. I said to the producer, I know a keyboard player who's pretty special. And so he came in, and like the line, do, 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 quite a hook. That just came off of Greg's noggin, as it's leading into the verse. And also this, it's like he said, oh, how about this? How about this? And he was just really great at that. So, long way of answering, I've got a couple connections to the Michael Jackson story, and my wife loves the music and is dancing in the kitchen to it, so.
There you go. Yeah, I get it. So that would be two in a row for you there.
Yeah, I could count that and be up 7, but I'll just go with 6. I'll keep it at 6.
Yeah, that was old news.
I admire Prince. Amazing. Nothing like it. One of a kind. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, I know Friday morning when I'm getting my refill of coffee, I'm going to give you a toast.
Yeah,
thank you.
And hopefully the Waffle House Jukebox Hero will show up and put some coins in.
There you go.
That's all right. Oh man. Well, Bill, it's been an honor to talk with you. And I hope that you'll join us again sometime in the future.
Sure thing. I'd be happy to. Pleasure to meet you, DC and DH, David and Dale. You guys have got a nice vibe going.
Well, thanks, sir. We sure appreciate that.
Yeah, we've enjoyed it. That's for sure.
We've been told a lot of things, and that's the nicest ever.
That's the nicest thing we've heard so far.
All right.
We appreciate that.
You got it.
Oh, wow. Bill, can you hang tight as we wrap up the show?
Sure thing.
All right.
We appreciate again Bill Wadhams being
Yes.
with us with Animotion. Get out and see these guys. You got that window of time to be able to catch a show all over the great nation, and just get out there and see the guys. Absolutely.
Right on.
And,
All right.
We're
And
gonna
Bill-
we're gonna be in Louisville. We'll be in Dayton area, Chicago
fantastic.
area, DC.
Yeah.
all around.
Be able to
So-
catch
all
it.
over.
Make sure you
All
get
right.
out and see them, folks. And Bill, it has been our honor. Thank you for coming on the show. We truly appreciate your time. I'm going to go ahead and say congratulations or condolences, whichever way you want to look at it, because you're now an official member of the D&D Dynamite family.
That's it.
So
That is it.
congratulations or condolences.
That's right.
It's either or.
And
It's
whichever
up to
way
you.
take it.
Yeah.
Where's the dynamite sound effect?
Well,
We're blowing you up.
we would use that. However, that would take one of us knowing something about technology, and
Man,
that's not
we're-
going to
we're-
happen.
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
gonna happen.
We'll just let DC buy breakfast, and I'll call that as
Okay.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that on Canyon Star TV, all D&D Dynamite 80s on our website. As I always YouTube it, as I always end it off before I send it over to DC. Folks, remember, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind, so always be kind to each other. DC,
Amen. Amen, brother. Here we go. Let's get into those sponsors real
get
quick.
those sponsors in.
D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, PJG Marketing, The Roy Band, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at rileyroads.art on Instagram, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, The Magic Yarn Project, and Hearts for Isabella. Check out all these great folks online.
Most
Yeah.
certainly.
And
Please
folks,
do.
yes, we ask that you check them out. And when we started this thing 6.5 years ago, we said if we ever got to the
Amazing.
point that we could help out, we would want to do that. And that's kind of what the show's about. And we have been blessed to be able to partner with 3 organizations, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. If you're looking to make monetary contributions, volunteer, or just positive thoughts, whatever you want to send to them,
Volunteer
these folks
for 'em.
love 'em. The first is the Magic Yarn Project. And what these folks do is volunteers around the nation, and they hand knit head coverings like princes and superheroes, and they donate them to children battling cancer. And it makes a huge difference for those kids. So please support them. Next is Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids. Our friend the Booch, Paul Carafotis.
Actor Paul Carafotis.
He writes the Charlie
children's
Bubbles books. And what they do is if you make donations to them, they actually provide books to children that may not otherwise have access to them. And as educators, we know how important illiteracy is at a young age. So we ask that you keep that in mind. And through Charlie Bubbles, we met our sweet angel, Isabella. Isabella was born with a heart condition and she succumbed to it.
Yep.
And her parents started Hearts for Isabella. And what they do is they go into hospitals and provide support for families going through similar situations. So just 3 great organizations full of amazing people. We ask if it's in your heart, positive thoughts, monetarily, volunteer, whatever you would like to do for those organizations.
Great
just
people.
make sure and keep them in mind.
Absolutely. Well put. Wednesday night show. We've got our dear friend that's coming back on the show, actress. Go ahead and say it, DH.
I'm waiting for you.
You say it.
No, I'm
Tell
gonna let you.
everybody.
You always introduce them. So I'm giving you. I'm not gonna take it and say anything about Barbeau. I'm not
There
gonna
you
say
go.
Mrs.
I knew
Barbeau.
you
I'm
would
not
do
gonna
that.
say it.
There you
I'm not.
go.
I'm gonna leave it. That's your part.
Adrienne Barbeau is going to
Yes.
be back on the
Yes,
show.
amazing friend of the show.
Back to school with Rodney Dangerfield, the Cannonball Run movies, the Maude, all those great shows she's been on. She is fantastic.
What a super sweet
and,
person.
Has just been
Beautiful
awesome
woman.
for us.
Beautiful
Yes.
woman.
And
Yes.
so we are excited about catching up with Adrienne. See what's
Yes,
been going
can't
on with her
wait.
this summer.
Can't wait.
Yeah, so that'll be
So-
this Wednesday.
Yes.
So
All right.
once again, Bill Wadhams with Animotion. We appreciate your time. Be safe in your travels. All the best, Astrid and the rest of the folks in the band, and
Thank you.
just the best to you guys.
Thanks so much.
It's been an honor to meet you.
It has. It's our
My
honor.
pleasure. It's been a good time. And again, good vibes, guys.
There you go. That's right. That's
Hey,
right.
if nothing else, we're going to provide that.
That's
Okay.
right. All right. So for Bill, that's DH. I am DC. And as DC always leads us out, keep playing those 80s, my friends, or any music you like. Keep playing it, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week, folks. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome. I'm sorry again that I missed the last time. It was one of those like, oops,
No
yeah.
problem.
No worries
problem.
at
It
all.
was an
We
honor to meet
appreciate
you.
your time.